We should wait that hour.
Yeah, we should wait. The funeral.
How far is
By
the
the time,
funeral from here?
maybe by the time we get through everybody.
10
Yeah, I
minutes?
bet.
Yeah, maybe by the time we get through everybody.
Okay.
And at least you guys
She'll make
specifically
sure
will be this because you got to get to the funeral.
Okay.
So, okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tashira Garraway. I'm the founder of Families Supporting Families Against Police Violence. But I'm first and foremost the fiance and the mother of Justin Tigan's now 15-year-old son. Justin Tigan was brutally beat to death by the St. Paul police here in the state of Minnesota, August 19, 2009. Our families stand here today in solidarity with Amir Locke's family. We want them to know that we are here as impacted families, that we support them, that we send our love to them. We are too impacted. We are re-traumatized every time this happens, every time we have to look on the news and see another person get murdered. As we know in our hearts, our loved ones was murdered and taken away from us here in this state. We are hurt and we are upset that this state and the leaders in this state, the politicians, have allowed this to happen. There has been over 470 murders at the hands of law enforcement in the last 20 years of Black, Indigenous, and minority people that have been swept under the rug. And we are saying today that we stand for Amir, we will fight for Amir, and you will be held accountable for Amir and all of the lives that law enforcement have stolen from our families and from our community. We, as families, have been out here begging and pleading and demanding with legislators to pass laws that would stop these officers from killing people, and they refused to do it in the last session. We've pleaded with the governor, we've pleaded with the attorney general to get help so that these murders could stop. And there was no police accountability bills passed in the last session with the legislators. The Senate would not let the bills go through that would hold officers accountable. And now here we are with Amir Locke being killed because of a no-knock warrant, and that was a bill that we were fighting for last legislation session. We have been shown time and time again that Black lives in the state of Minnesota have no value. The reason I say that is because Philando Castile was murdered, and the officer was standing there with his gun as Philando clinged to life. 18 months later, a white woman was killed, Justine DeMond, by a Black officer after she banged on the window and said that she heard gunshots. She startled the officer and he shot. I never justify murder, but I would say that was the most incident where someone was actually scared. The officer that killed Philando 18 months before that shot into a vehicle with a man that was licensed to carry, had a 3-year-old baby in the back seat, had his significant other in the other seat. He had the gun still standing there. In Justine DeMond's case, there was no video, but all they needed to know was that a Black officer killed a white woman. So that officer is incarcerated right now. I nenever compare money because I don't care about it, because it can't take the pain away from our families. But that family received $20 million. Philando family received $3 million. What is the difference in the lives? What is the $17 million difference in the lives? That's how we're valued. Justin was found not in the river, not in the woods, Not on the ground, but in the trash. That's what they think of us in this state. And it's proven time and time and time again. We have no value in this state. And they're proving it to us. And they're doing it in our faces. And they won't pass police accountability because they don't care about our families. Because if they cared about our families, we wouldn't be standing here right now because they would have stopped it already. Anything that you want to stop, you would make it stop. It's going on because they've allowed it to go on. So today, we have the family of Justin Tigan. We have the family of Dante Wright. We have the family of Courtney Williams. We have the family of Jeffrey Smith. We have the family of Jamar Clark. We have the family of George Floyd. And we have the family of Philando Castile. Standing here today demanding justice for Amir Locke and all of the other stolen lives that led up to Amir. You will not forget about us. You will not sweep us under the rug. We will not be quiet in this time when you've stolen from our loved ones too. Because all of their lives mattered. And all of our families are hurting by the corruptedness and the cover-ups in this state. I will now call forward the mother of Dante Wright, Katie Wright. Thank you.
Katie Wright. I am Dante Wright's mom. Seems like almost just a year ago we were standing in the same heart. My prayers go out with them. I know the journey that they're traveling down, and it's a hard one. It hurts. And to watch the video of Amir being murdered again brings back so much memories for our family. And it just seems like it's never going to stop. There's so many names that are being yelled in the streets in Minnesota, and this all could have ended when people were demanding change in the legislature. I sat with the governor and asked, when my son was murdered, that it needs to stop. And then here we are, almost a year later, with another boy that looks like my son. When I see Amir, I see Dante. When I see Amir, I see Jamar Clark. When I see Amir, I see Philando Castile. When I see Amir, I see so many names. And we can't take it anymore. We're demanding justice. We need accountability, and we need it to stop. This is just beyond a pain that nobody will ever be able to even describe, because that's how much it hurts. So we're demanding accountability. We're demanding change. And we're asking that you guys hold these police officers accountable. We have to fight extra hard compared to community crime because we have to make sure that the person that is supposed to protect and serve our family protects and serves instead of shoot and kills. And that's not happening. So Amir Locke, my heart goes out to his family, and I want you guys to know that the Wright family, along with families supporting families, stands with you, and we're here for you. Thank you.
We will now call forward the mother of Jeffrey Smith, Matilda Smith. Thank you.
Hello, you all. I am tired. Mentally, this is hard. It's traumatizing. Each time we step up here, each time they kill someone, I just like to call Amir Locke name out loud. Amir Locke.
Amir Locke.
Amir Locke.
Amir Locke.
Amir Locke.
Amir Locke.
Amir Locke wouldn't be dead right now if they've taken care of the crimes they committed long before Amir Locke. These police officers are committing crimes, and I don't even want to blame them anymore because they work for someone. And whoever they work for has to be sending them out killing it. This is not right that we have to continue to do this. We're tired of facing you guys. We don't want to be here. We don't ask to be here. But they're killing our children. They killed my son, Jaffar Smith. Shot him a lot of times and swept him under the rug, they thought. They had a fake grand jury. I stepped to the DA that took his case, and he retired after that. This is wrong, y'all. We can't keep allowing them to kill our children. It's not all right. And they don't want us to talk about it. Well, we're going to talk about it. And they don't want to give us our records. 5 years my son been dead. They haven't given me his records. Come on. This is wrong. What do you got to have? Why do you hold our records? Why 5 years? It's 6 years. I still haven't got my son's complete records. They have a lot to hide and a lot to cover up. When they killed my son, they held his body. BCA ordered them to hold his body so his family could not come down there and see him. They do a lot of stuff, y'all, and this stuff has to stop. These lies has to stop. These cover-ups has to stop. We want accountability for Amir Locke. We want accountability, and we want his family to get justice because we didn't get it, and we're still fighting for it. So I say justice for Amir Locke. We are here for you. We stand with your family. Thank you.
Yes. We will now call the mother of Philando Castile, Valerie Castile.
I have to take these off for a minute anyway, because this is going to get real up in here. It's getting ready to get real up in here. Okay. Now, what number body we on? 200? 300?
No.
400? What body? What body we on now? Now that's a shame.
It's almost 500.
We done lost count. They've killed so many of our children, we have lost count, and we can't remember the names. But it's more than you can imagine. And like I said last time I was in this very room, that you guys are the journalists. Y'all need to fact check what we're talking about and bring a real story to the table. Because these little bits and pieces that you're hearing, we need for you guys to know and understand how deep this corruption really goes. My son was crucified July the 6th, 2016. He was shot just for being honest and telling the truth. Okay, where do we go from there? How can you explain that to children, that a man was honest and told the truth and was still murdered while he was seatbelted in his car accompanied by a woman and a child? Now, what was that man so afraid of as a black family? A man, woman, and a child is a family. So why was he afraid? And like I said, they don't use critical thinking. You walking up to the back of that car, you couldn't see that little tiny head in the back of that windshield. But yet, you shot in that vehicle with no regards to human life. Now, I'm finna get real with you right about now. All our children were of age to bear children. You're killing our children in the premature lives where they can reproduce. Now, if you kill 100 children that could have 5 children, that's 500 kids that would never be born. And you multiply that by 100,000, that's 500,000 children, black children, that would never be born. It's deeper than what you think. It's deeper than what you think. They are using genocide against us. That's exactly what it is. They don't want to see more black people born, and so they're executing the ones that can reproduce. It's so much collusion and cover-up and backdoor wheeling and dealing. That circus of a trial they had for my son, it was just shameful. It was shameful. That man shot at 3 people, but you end up with 1 charge. He committed so many crimes at that time. We gonna stop talking about after the fact. At that very minute, when they came in that door at our son Amar, he was already a dead man. He was already a dead man because the way they came in there. And it's just a shame that you get away with it. All you have to say was you was in fear of your life. I just want to know, why do you have all this shit around your belt and you can't come from here? You understand what I'm saying? You got a child. You couldn't jump on him and beat his ass. Come on now, let's get real. There's something more that you can do than to shoot and kill our children. That's just a fact. You couldn't grab a motherfucker and spray him with pepper spray? Why do you have all these things and you're not utilizing them? You don't want to chase nobody, so you shoot them in the back. Somebody moving too much, so you choke them to death. I mean, there's ways to do these things, but you're not even trying. What's going on? They're teaching these people how to get away with murder.
Yes, they are.
It's plain and simple. Plain and simple. And I just want the people who are in these positions that can make these proper changes to do so. Do it. Stop spinning your wheels. I've been spinning my wheels for almost 6 years now and have not accomplished anything that really, truly matters. And our children's lives matter. Don't think for 1 second that I didn't love my son. She didn't love her fiance. She didn't love her son no more than your ass. You love your children, and so did we. They were human beings that were loved. And we wanted the best for our children, but you didn't allow that. You denied our children's right to live. That's all we want, to be able to live the American dream just like anybody else. But you're not allowing that. And what we're missing is prayer. We can't beat this thing. We fighting a spiritual battle, and we need to fight it with prayer. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Mama Valerie Castile. We will now call forward the mother of Courtney Williams. Courtney Williams was related to Amir, who was killed by the Minneapolis police, and Amir was murdered in 2004 by the Minneapolis police. Courtney Williams, the mother, Tahisha Williams. Thank you.
I come here today. My name is Tahisha. My son was killed in 2004, executed in 2004 by the Minneapolis Police Department. Courtney Williams. No one heard of his name, heard of him since about 2 months after it happened. Now it strikes again in my family. Another young man. And the difference between this is they can see it now. They didn't see it when my son was murdered. They have evidence before Amir was murdered with the cameras, and it still proceeds to go on. We need to stop this. Us families come together as one, and everyone else join us that sees this and make this stop. It is so ridiculous, and we have no rights when it takes place. We don't even have the rights to our own loved ones' bodies when they kill them. We have to wait on them to give us the okay to do anything. And there should be a law for that too. That belonged to me. You took that from me. You've taken everyone up here with me. We have family members that we lost. And we need some justice. We need help with this. We need prayer, like you said. I stand in solidarity for Courtney, for all of these families, for everyone's family that has been impacted by any of this. I want to thank Family Supporting Family for helping me and my other family. Thank you.
We will will now call forward the family of Jamar Clark. Thank you.
I'm Tiffany. I'm the sister of Jamar Clark. This is my baby brother. He's the baby of 10 of us. On November 15th, 2015, he was executed by Minneapolis police while handcuffed. Jamar was no threat, and his murder was senseless. And he should be here with us today. This is just an example of, this is not an isolated situation. And we're here to show you all that this is not just us. This is over 400 people that's been murdered over the last 20 years. We need all hands on deck. We can't afford for y'all, any of us, to wait anymore until it happens to one of our loved ones. We can't wait till it hit home. We need all hands on deck. They sent a clear message that there's a war on black bodies. They are out for black bodies. They already have made that clear. We need all hands on deck. There's so much work to be done, and there's so much work that is being done. But we need all hands on deck. We can't play with this thing. No more bodies, no more bodies. My heart and my prayers go to Amir's family as I stand here, and I see Jamar. I see Philando. I see Justin. I see Dante. You know, and until we all say enough is enough, and not wait until we're standing up here, not wait until it hit home, they're going to keep doing it. I don't want to do any more of these press conferences. I don't want to stand here. I don't want to meet y'all under these circumstances anymore. We need all hands on deck. I plead to our community, our people, our loved ones, everybody that's at home, at work. Think about what you can do within your network, within your community, to end this.
Yes.
Think about that. We have to move in a different way. We have to do things we haven't done before. We have to move in a way where we're not meeting like this again. This has to stop. Man.
Tired.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Tired.
Before we call our last speaker, I want to say, we have the father of Noah Kelly, Brian Kelly, with us as well. Would you stand with us? I'm going to have Courtney Ross, and then you'll be the last speaker, or then we'll have John McCauley. But I want to say, this isn't a popularity contest for us. This isn't something that we want to do, or this is fun for us. We didn't sign up for this. It's some people where they can do this. They have a choice. We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice but to try to be in front of these cameras to say, hey, my loved one mattered too. Because if we don't, they'll sweep it under the rug, and they'll just deal with the families that they have to deal with. The families that sweep through their cracks that they weren't able to cover up. Because they've been able to cover up hundreds of bodies. Behind every high-profile case that you guys hear about in the media, there's 100 bodies up behind that high-profile case. And the only reason they're addressing the families that got through the cracks and they weren't able to cover it up is because they don't have a choice, and it's in front of the camera. They were getting ready to cover up Dante Wright's murder. The chief of police said it on the news that the head of the BCA told him he shouldn't have released the videos. as fast as he did. So what would be the reason not to release the videos? Because you wanted to edit the videos? Because you wanted to crop the video about what really happened to Dante? That's the real reason. Let's be honest and let's be transparent and tell the truth. Y'all was getting ready to cover up that boy murder. But God didn't let it happen. But this is not fun for us. This is our lives. This is our lives. These are our children. These are the fathers to our children. But we don't have no choice but to put our lives on the line and stand in front of cameras, because otherwise they will never talk about the rest of the bodies that led up to Amir. And we cannot allow that as the families. We will now call forward the significant other of George Floyd, Courtney Rose.
Good afternoon. Thanks for listening to us today. Like Mama Valerie said, I hope the messages come out clear and not edited like police videos. Last year on April 4th, 2021, Kim Potter from the Brooklyn Center Police Department murdered Dante Wright. This was all during the trial, the state trial of Derek Chauvin. Currently, the federal trial for Tou Thao, Alexander King, and Thomas Lane for the for the violation of civil rights of George Floyd is going on. And during this trial, the Minneapolis Police Department murdered Amir Locke. When are the police departments of Minnesota going to learn? When are we going to change? Like our families keep saying, we can't take much more. The pain and trauma that Amir's family is experiencing right now is also being felt by all of our families, again and again. Amir Locke was 22 years old. Dante Wright would have been 22 on his next birthday. My son will be 22 this year. Is he next? How many more families do we need to add to this group before people start to think with their heart? I'm talking particularly to these officers that think that they can take our loved ones. But I'll let you know that right now, Derek Chauvin's sitting in a cell all by himself. And Kim Potter is too. So if we need to take you down one by one, we'll make sure y'all are sitting in those cells alone too. Yes. Justice for Amir Locke. Yes. And fuck those no-knock warrants. Thank you.
We will now call forward the father of Noah Kelly, who was just murdered a few months ago. They're really trying to sweep this murder, actively trying to sweep this murder under the rug. Brian Kelly, thank you.
My son was also 21. He would have made 22 this January. My little granddaughter, she didn't even see her first birthday with her father. At 11 months old, her father, my son, was murdered by the Mounds View and New Brighton police. We're actively trying to investigate the police's actions in this matter. He didn't have to go like this. But this is a choice of our policing system to kill our children. And it truly is terrorism. in our country. To be in positions where one after the other, men of color are being taken out by a system that's decided to brutally murder and even incarcerate our young people. Enough is enough. Enough is now. And I stand here amongst these families in solidarity against the violence that's happened to our people. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't have all the answers, but I am committed to each and every person standing up here today who's experienced this. I'm committed. That's why I'm here today, because I'm committed. These mothers that are crying, as a father, I can't talk to you about how I feel. I can't talk to you about what this means. Not in how I want to talk to you. But I will tell you that I'm committed to a change. I spent the past 17 years in this community building and strengthening families. And I spent the past 16 years in this community building youth programs so that our youth could come up. My son was ready to be a carpenter. My son had 2 jobs. My son was trying to feed his baby and trying to do everything he could. And one day, a whole gang of police officers rushed into where he was at. And rather than give him an opportunity, they just shot him dead.
The gang is right. Gang.
A total gang.
Gang bangers.
So what do? How do we do this? Literally, I mean, we got a system of people that have to start going to the very jails they're trying to put people in. That's where we're at. We got a whole system of people. And, I mean, I want to see justice in my son's circumstances. I want to see justice for Amir. I want to see things change. I want to see a whole system change.
Yes.
You know, I want to see a system rebuilt. I mean, we almost got to just all move into one neighborhood. you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Amen.
right, you know. But it's too much for us to not feel protected in a place that we came out of slavery from. Slavery was abolished over 150 years ago, but it still exists. Terrorism is something we thought happened on 9/11, but it happens in our communities every single day. We can't continue to live in terrorism in a country that we call home. Most of us, 4 and 5 generations ago, were not asked to be here. My Nigerian blood came by way of slave trade. And upon coming here, we worked through slavery. I heard a preacher say one time, you didn't come from slavery, you came through slavery. That's what a preacher said. You didn't come from slavery, you came through slavery. But are we still enslaved in a country where we're terrorized? I wake up every day in a nightmare. Every single day in a nightmare. Because I got a son that was killed by the people I trusted, that I trusted. You're supposed to make things right. Not just go into a building and shoot someone up.